On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Yeah, possibility of opening up Alcatraz. We kind of heard it hinted at earlier. Sounds like they're getting a little more serious about it. I know there is also 5 other Republican states that they're talking about doing some sort of similar alligator Alcatraz type scenario. We'll see how all these things continue to play out. A lot of news to get into, and man, I'll tell you, this is a week I'd love to see end. That's for sure. It's been probably one of the hardest news weeks I've had, I think, in a while anyway. Yeah, it is what it is. So some weird stuff. People that are a little messed up on the left. Car laden with weapons, including rifle, rapier, bow. He had a number of weapons in there. Some Subaru Outback, which is totally a progressive driver's car. Like, sorry for any of you that might have a Subaru. Man, that's a progressive car right there. But yeah, the vehicle had all sorts of weapons, accessories, all sorts of stuff. Rifle. Yeah, this guy. They found it. They saw it. It had a tricycle strapped to the top of the car. Go figure. Don't even know what that's about. And they decided to look at it a little further. Once they did, they found all sorts of weapons, figured out who it was, then were able to figure out where he was. They approached him. He's like, yeah, I had weapons in my car, and I had a weapon on him. So they arrested his punk ass. Also got a gender fluid 19-year-old that attempts to firebomb the GOP office in Michigan. It didn't explode, fortunately, but he threw a Molotov cocktail. He got busted big time for that. And you're not supposed to do that kind of stuff. And a suspect connected to an attack on a journalist during an anti-ICE protest in Seattle was finally arrested. Jeremy Calville Lawson, 33, was arrested this afternoon, or probably yesterday, by SPD's Community Response Group officers. He was booked into King County Jail for felony investigation of assault. CRG, in coordination with homicide detectives, located and arrested a suspect wanted for politically motivated felony assault that occurred during an anti-ICE protest. A suspect was booked again at the King County Jail. Apparently this guy attacked, just kind of out of nowhere, this independent media individual that was out there and left him bloodied, bruised. He had a concussion. His vision was jacked up for over a week. Fortunately, they found him, which is, to me, is like promising, right? We're actually starting to catch some of these people. It's pretty cool. Senate passes the DOGE rescissions bill, and it's heading to the House. The House, I assume, should be able to pass this through. It barely passed, but it passed 51-48. At least McConnell was on board this time. But, of course, Collins and Murkowski were not. They voted with the Democrats. How do you like them apples? Voted with the Democrats. So, again, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, you will never get reelected again. Ever. In fact, I do look forward to some major dirt that's probably going to come out about both of you guys in the not-too-distant future. You both are so persona non grata. So, again, we'll handle this the proper way, legal way. We'll vote your ass out of office, or, like I said, a scandal's going to come out that will cause you problems. I look forward to the day. White House is likely to send another rescissions package to Congress. They're being a little tight-lipped on what exactly is in it. They want to see the first one get passed, but Russell Vought is talking about this. He said this Thursday that the administration is likely to send another rescission package to Congress to claw back even more money, but that's it. That's all we know. Again, waiting for the last one to finally get voted on. Hopefully that happens. Crazy, crazy California, man, I'll tell you. Newsom jolts Californians with a bid to throw out House maps. This is kind of funny. He's like, well, if Texas is going to break the law, then I'm going to break the law. Problem is it's sort of backfiring on him. It's a proposal capturing the imagination of a Democratic Party spoiling for another fight with Republicans and desperate to regain a foothold in Washington. This week, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries privately huddled with members of the California delegation to discuss redistricting at the bloc's weekly lunch. And in California, text threads are ablaze with discussions of what a redraw would look like, who would benefit, and how it would affect active efforts to recruit candidates and raise money. But it also is a long shot. And to many Democrats in Newsom's home state, it is a new obsession bordering on bizarre or even anti-democratic. Trying to save democracy by destroying democracy is dangerous and foolish, said Assemblymember Alex Lee, the head of the state's legislature Progressive Caucus. By legitimizing the race to the bottom of gerrymandering, Democrats will ultimately lose. And again, this is in regards to something Texas is doing. Texas is following President Trump's advice. Again, this is Politico, but it's going to redraw its congressional districts to shore up the GOP's slender House majority. Again, not fond of that kind of stuff, but it is Politico, so we'll see what all happens. But the fact that Newsom wants to do the same stupid stuff, well, go figure, right? Richard Grinnell, he's out to make Gavin Newsom's life a living hell. And he said, at Gavin Newsom lied. He said he wouldn't grab the land where homes burned down in the Palisades to build low-income housing facilities, but he and Karen Bass just did. They are changing the character of the Palisades and Malibu to fit their woke agenda. They don't care what residents want. They can't even deliver building permits properly. But this fight is not over. Stay tuned. And I love the fact that he's fighting this because this is insane that they're literally going to try to... They've been forcing people to wait for permits and all that stuff. These people that own these properties where their homes burned down, they still have to pay property tax. They still have to pay their mortgages even though their house is gone. So they know, California, Newsom, Bass, they know these people are desperate to either A, get a freaking house built, or B, get some of that insurance money, or C, we can't afford to keep doing this forever. So they're taking advantage of that, and they're offering them reasonably, like market equivalent, maybe, I don't know. I'm saying it's probably on the low side. And they're trying to buy up this property so they can put in low-income housing in what used to be a gorgeous neighborhood. They don't want to build it back as such. They would rather make it shitty. Make California shitty again. That's what they're trying to do. Trump announces the cancellation of funding for Newsom's high-speed train to nowhere. This is freaking awesome. Literally said, that's it. We're not giving you another dime. California, still, I think they're spending $1 billion a year on this stupid thing. Well, they're no longer getting any federal funds. To the law-abiding, tax-paying, hard-working citizens of the United States of America, I am thrilled to announce that I have officially freed you from funding California's disastrously overpriced high-speed train to nowhere. Trump wrote this on Truth Social. So this is a big deal. The railroad we were promised still does not exist and never will, the Post continued. This project was severely overpriced, overregulated, and never delivered. Thanks to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, not a single penny in federal dollars will go towards this Newsom scam ever again. This was an ill-conceived and unnecessary project and a total waste of taxpayer money, but no more. So again, Gavin Newsom is failing all over the place, and that's fantastic. I want to remind you guys, of course, of Healthy Home, and we've got some new pictures, too, from the gentleman, Gary, that's been running around doing all sorts of fun stuff. Whoops, that's not it. Here's him out in the Grand Canyon. No, the fires are very, very, very much affecting the Grand Canyon. He sent me a bunch of pictures of all the fires, but frankly, I'm going to focus on the ones where he's showing the beautiful stuff with Prime in the picture. But yeah, Grand Canyon National Park. Our boy has been making his rounds, doing the Route 66 thing. And yeah, again, careful, don't go backwards. But yeah, and there's some of the fires for you right there. Pretty crazy, right? Just like, ugh, nasty. All said, we've got some of the best products that you can get over there at Healthy Home, and they're all about making you healthier. Stem Active, very important. You got any sort of aches, pains, stuff like that, some healing. Like for me, it was jacked shoulder from a dislocated shoulder, frankly, that was causing me some pain when I was working out. That's actually better for me. Girlfriend had calcification in her shoulder. That's better now. She's actually able to lift her arm and hug me when I see her in the morning. So again, we had the cop friend of mine, a bunch of other friends that have reached out and said, this stuff is amazing. It is. Stem cells are the cells that do the healing in your body. They can become other cells in the body. This isn't putting stem cells into you. This is causing your body to enhance its stem cell count naturally. 25 to 40% more stem cells, like almost immediately. Within minutes, it's able to pass that many or increase the stem cells in your body. And these are the cells that are androgynous. They can become any cell in the body. If you need help with the muscles or your skin or your lungs, the stem cells can become lung cells, skin cells, muscle cells. So it helps the healing process tremendously. Highly recommend it. The gel is a liquid, gets into your body quicker, easier. The pills, I just like the pills. They're simple. So I take those. But either way, right, I think they're roughly the same price. I got more confirmation about balance. The young lady that's taking it is raving on it. In fact, her husband's like, yeah, I've totally noticed a difference too. This is helping her tremendously. She's feeling better. She's sleeping better. Her temperature shifts aren't happening nearly as bad. Her mood shifts aren't happening as bad. She's actually starting to feel more connected with the younger version of herself. And she's an empath and somebody that's very into feeling other people and how they're feeling. And the way this had been affecting this change she's going through, it had been making it hard for her to be empathetic with other people. The balance has actually helped bring that back for her. So she's finding balance in all sorts of areas in her life. It's a transdermal lotion. You put a little bit on your wrist, you rub your wrists together, and ladies, this is going to help tremendously. Again, there's no hormones in this product. It's just 14 potent plant-based ingredients. Balance restores energy, uplifts moods, enhances sleep, and just supports well-being without synthetic hormones, which you don't want to get into taking because it causes your body to stop producing the little bit that it is still producing. Amaze is one of the best collagen peptides out there. It's liquid, gets into your system quickly. So if you've got sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair, like if you work out hard, this is something you want to be taking on a regular basis too. This product is amazing. The cop friend, I just remember how she told me her friends were tripping on her skin. They're like, why does your skin look so amazing? She'd only been taking the collagen peptides for a week or two. Like I just gave her one box. She only had 15 of them. And she already was seeing a difference. My girlfriend loves this stuff. She's been freaking about her hair. And she's been gone for a month. She'll be back a week from today, actually. So we'll see, right? But she's loving it. And she's doubling up on it. She double doses. And she is amazed. And she's very happy. So powerful stuff. Prime, as our good friend Gary has been talking about, he's taking it in the morning. He's able to drive all day, and it's just giving him energy. And it is. It's a great source of energy. It's not like any other energy I've ever done before. What it is, it's a nitric oxide booster. It causes your blood vessels to expand so more oxygen can move through them. So it doesn't feel like anything other than more energy. You just have more energy. You start doing something, and you're like, man, I'm not tiring out like I normally might. It's incredible. They've also got STEM Active for pets. You got a pet that's got some healing or surgery or something that's going on. Just in general, if you want to help them, maybe they got arthritis and stuff like that, some hip dysplasia. Even though it's not going to fix their hips, it can actually help with some of the discomfort that they feel. And the STEM Active for pets is like half the price of what it is for adults. So it's a chewable daily tablet. And we've heard rave reviews about dogs just feeling better, having more pep in their step, if you will, and just overall acting like they feel better. Again, they don't necessarily tell you with their words, but you'll notice it with their actions and how they behave. Incredible products. You want to go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Hit the shop tab. If you're doing it on your phone, I think there's like 3 bars or something over on the side. You want to hit those, and that'll give you all the options. That was one thing that confused some people. But you want to go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make sure you get your products, your Prime products, your STEM Active products. You're going to get your healthy. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get your health back. It's awesome how it works. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com, or heal thy home, as is sometimes stated. Pretty cool stuff. Businessman police chief indicted for obtaining visas for illegals. This is a really weird little thing that was going on. So there's a 62-count indictment. There's a local Louisiana businessman. I'm not even going to try his last name, Mr. Patel, also known as Lala. I assume that's Lala, not Layla, because that would be weird, kind of. But he conspired from at least December 26, 2015 until July 15th, 2025. Chad Doyle, he's the chief of police for the city of Oakdale. Glenn Dixon is the chief of police for the city of Forest Hill. Thibaut Anishi is the former chief of police for the city of Glen Mora. And Michael Freck Slaney, he's the marshal of the Ward 5 Marshal's office in Oakdale. They were fabricating crimes. It's kind of a weird thing. So there's this weird U visa, and if you are listed as a victim or a witness to a crime and you have a regular visa, they end up giving you this U visa, and I guess you can stay here longer or indefinitely. So this dude was getting people that were paying him tens of thousands of dollars to get on this U visa thing. So essentially, the gentleman, Mr. Patel, would go to these sheriff departments and say, hey, can you say this guy's a witness, put him in someplace in some sort of witness thing, Then we can get the U visa, and he would pay them some money to do that. He was making money in the process, and there was just gobs and gobs of people that were doing this. So crazy what it was, but yeah, he's heavily being investigated now and indicted, I guess. Yeah, his actual indictment, 62 counts. That's pretty heavy duty. Dude's going to be going to jail for a long time. Judges back green card migrants against Trump. A federal appeal court ruled on Tuesday that the Department of Justice's Board of Immigration Appeals lacks the power to unilaterally revoke a green card, stating such actions violate Congress's authority and the principle of separation of power. These cases involved Mohammed Katanani. He's a New Jersey-based imam with alleged ties to Hamas who has been seeking permanent residency in the United States for over 2 decades. Judge Ariana Freeman, appointed by, yes, Joe Biden, and writing for the majority of the Third Circuit Court of Appeals panel, argued the BIA exceeded its authority when it attempted to undo Katanani's adjustment to LPR status by using an agency regulation in a manner inconsistent with the procedures set out by Congress in the Immigration and Nationality Act. This, to me, sounds very much like another judge that's way overstepping their bounds. I would assume that the Board of Immigration's Appeals certainly has the right to pull back an appeal on somebody that's not been forthcoming about their ties with terrorism and things along those lines. It's just a done deal at that point. So, again, we have another judge that is stepping outside their boundaries. But, again, this is only, it seems, only really impacting this one individual who is going to be deported one way, shape, or form. Illegal migrant driver charged with slamming Connecticut state troopers. Dude actually hit 2 police cars. He was 18-year-old from, where was he? Ecuador. He didn't have a driver's license, driving erratically, ran into 2 cops. So Joel Alexander Keika Nishve, sure. He's an illegal alien from Ecuador. He was released into the U.S. under the Biden administration in 2023. On July 10th, 2025, he was charged with reckless driving after he was involved in a car accident that seriously injured 2 Connecticut state troopers. ICE has lodged a detainer for his arrest. Kristi Noem's in talks with 5 red states to construct detention facilities inspired by alligator Alcatraz. They didn't actually say which states they were. They just talk about the facility in the Florida Everglades, and that's it. And then they reference this other article that is doesn't talk about what the states are either. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe we'll get some more information in time. U.S. workers are building a new 7-mile-long, taller secondary barrier to reinforce the border wall. Apparently, they're able to cut through this awesome border wall pretty easily, which, I'll be honest, is, Trump tried to make it sound like initially that this thing would be hard to get through. They seem like they've figured out how. So now they're building a second wall. I don't know. This seems... we got to figure out how to stop this, obviously, but it seems like whatever wall they build, I don't understand how they'll figure out a way over, under, around, whatever, but it's happening.
And now to the southern border, where workers are building a taller secondary barrier. It will reinforce the steel fence along a 7-mile stretch of the New Mexico's desert area.
Customs and Border Protection says these projects will close critical gaps in the border wall and enhance security operations.
Border Patrol arrested close to 40,000 migrants in the El Paso sector in the past year, which is actually down 78% from the year before.
In a statement to Border Report, Customs and Border Protection said criminal organizations in the El Paso sector frequently use bolt cutters, grinders, and acetylene torches to break through the barrier.
A federal official told Border Report that the new barrier will be much more difficult to break through.
Meanwhile, border officials seized more than $880,000 in narcotics from a vehicle in Hidalgo, Texas yesterday. Homeland Security officials arrested the 44-year-old driver, and a criminal investigation is now underway.
I like the way they said acetylene. That was pretty cool. Ken Paxton launches a probe into 100 possible non-citizens who allegedly voted illegally in elections. Apparently, they've cast over 200 ballots. Again, may not seem like a lot, but what this does is it's a deterrent for anybody else that might consider doing the illegal thing. And if these guys are illegal, who's to say Ken Paxton doesn't just go ahead and call ICE and say, hey, these dudes are illegal and they're breaking the law on top of that? Sorry, they're here affecting elections. That's major. They got to go. We'll see. Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed California sheriffs to hand over lists of all non-citizen inmates in their jails, including crimes committed and release dates, to prioritize deporting criminal illegal aliens who pose a heightened risk to public safety. Citing the previous admin's border failures that led to rampant crimes and deadly drugs, Bondi warns she'll use subpoenas if they don't comply voluntarily within 30 days, reminding them of existing DOJ agreements requiring full access. You know they're not going to give it, but here's the thing. Well, Sheriff Luna is actually a pretty decent guy. I think he's Los Angeles. I thought he was Riverside, but still, he's actually a pretty good guy, to my understanding. So I think he'll give up the information, especially the sheriffs. The sheriffs work for the people, not the state. The state police work for the state, not the people. Big difference. Sheriffs are elected. Sheriffs are definitely a better group of people, I would say. I live very close to a sheriff department. I see sheriffs all the time, and I deal with them frequently, and they're some of the nicest people. I love them, and I love having them around. It's awesome. Makes me feel better and safer, that's for sure. Attorney General Pam Bondi is set to announce plans to reopen Alcatraz as a federal prison. Yep, she's talking about saying this on Thursday. Hopefully it happens. Rep. Nancy Pelosi, Democrat from California, calls it President Trump's stupidest initiative yet. I bet we can top it. Bondi and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum are expected to officially announce the Trump administration's plans to reopen Alcatraz as a federal prison, which is currently controlled by the National Park Service and generates about $60 million in annual revenue. Probably a good chunk of that goes to California, or used to. Oh, it's just fun how these things are playing out. Absolutely enjoying it. Democrats walk out of Beauvais and Pirot, their meeting. This is where they were essentially approving them, or Senate Judiciary Committee gave its approval of the two controversial Trump nominees Thursday. There was some shenanigans that Cory Booker was trying to get away with doing. Chuck Grassley kind of shut him down. Cory Booker got all pissed off about it. I don't know if we've got... do we? We'll play this. What the hell? This might be worth listening to. We'll see.
Point of order regarding... This is outrageous that you're not allowing senators to have their fair say before a controversial nominee is being done. This is unbelievable. This is unjust. This is wrong. It is the further deterioration of this committee's integrity. With a person like this, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of hearing from Chris Coons? From hearing from one of my colleagues? From hearing from Adam Schiff? What is the fear here? Have at least the decency to have a vote on my point of order regarding Rule 4. I have respect for you, Mr. Chairman. We've served together for more than a decade, but this is outrageous. This is unacceptable. This is wrong. It is wrong. And why? Why? What is the rush to take another half hour to listen to people? What is the rush? What are we afraid of, Mr. Chairman? What are we afraid of? I do not understand why senators can't debate a nominee as we've done when both sides have been in the majority to take the time. What is the thing that you are so afraid of from hearing from my Senate colleagues? This is a violation of the precedents of this committee. We're not trying some stunt here to try to force a 2-hour rule like you all did when you were in the minority. We just want to be heard before a controversial vote. Sir, this is wrong, and you know it. You are a person of integrity. How could you be doing this? At least have a vote on my point of order. Sir.
Wow, is it, huh? You're just going to kick it out, huh? That was weird. Yeah, so anyway, he's obviously all pissed off. What essentially, at some point, I don't know if he said it in the video, but Chuck Grassley's like, look, you guys are just trying to politicize this. And what a lot of it had to do with is Beauvais. And there was a point where Beauvais, when they were talking about these radical judges, Beauvais was like, all right, screw it. And this had to do with the exporting people to El Salvador. And he's like, well, we could just always go against the courts, right? And that was just one of the things that was thrown out. But the Dems have glommed onto this. And they're like, well, this is what Beauvais is all about. And it's like, well, he never did it. You can say crazy shit. I mean, if we were to go by all the crazy shit, you and your little Hawaiian bitch next to you there, Cory Booker, you guys have said all sorts of salacious stuff. You guys have said all sorts of things that have gotten people fired up and wanting to commit crimes and violence. So again, it's just words, right? Isn't that what you always say? And from the standpoint of, I can't, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Why? Why? Dude, fuck off, man. We're not afraid of shit. We just don't want to listen to you talk. It'd been worse if it was Hakeem Jeffries. My God, we don't have time. 30 minutes would have been his, 4 sentences. No, we don't got that kind of time. Whatever the case is. Fuck Cory Booker in the butthole. That's what I say. This is just fun, actually. Duffy and Nadler tangle. Call each other liars. Yeah, this is freaking awesome. I love this. And I dislike fucking the Penguins so bad. I don't know why I'm cussing so much. I think I'm going to probably keep doing it, though. Like I said, it's been a week. You know? And the Penguin is being a douchehole, and Duffy kind of calls him on it. It's pretty cool.
As last week, you again attacked the MTA, claiming there's a surge in subway assaults and accusing the agency of withholding information. But many of your statements misrepresent the facts and ignore documentation already provided to your department. I want to address some of those claims directly. First, are you aware that major crime in the transit system, including assaults, is down 3% since last year and down 8% since 2019?
Well, I would say
that's a yes or no question.
Well, no, that's wrong. The assaults that we've seen are up 60% with MTA in the system since 2019.
Why do you continue to ignore this and lie about this in your public comments?
Well, my question, why do you continue to lie about people being lit on fire in subways or pushed in front of trains? You should be fighting to make sure your subways are safe.
Our subways
you want people to ride subways. Let's make subways safe.
Reclaiming my time. Our subways are safe, and I gave you the statistics.
They're wrong.
Second of all, you claimed earlier this year that there was no study of traffic impacts before the implementation of the congestion relief program. Are you aware that in 2023, your office received a nearly 4,000-page environmental assessment that thoroughly analyzed traffic patterns, transit operations, and environmental impacts in detail?
Are you aware that your governor did not want to move forward?
I asked if your question. Are you aware that you got?
Pricing,
are you aware that
want the electorate to know that?
Answer my question. Are you aware that you got that 4,000-page environmental assessment?
That went to the last.
Yes or no?
To the last administration, they got it.
You got it. If so, why do you continue to deny its existence?
I haven't denied any existence.
Okay. Secretary Duffy, as you know, your attempt to revoke
you're mischaracterizing what my complaint has been. That our roads are not for the elitists, the ones who have money or someone pays for their vehicle to drive into a cordoned area. I believe everyone has a right to use our roads.
Secretary,
so if you can't afford because
Secretary
you're poor,
Duffy,
why should you be excluded from driving into the city of New York?
Reclaiming my time. Mr. Secretary, as you know, your attempt to revoke the MTA's congestion pricing approval came after the program had already undergone a full NEPA review and was formally cleared by the Federal Highway Administration. Can you identify a single precedent under any Republican or Democratic administration for unilaterally rescinding approval of a program like this after it completed the full environmental review process?
So the example is that you have never had a cordon pricing situation like this.
Yes, there have been. What do you call the New Jersey Turnpike?
There's a road right next to it. Every road we have, you can take an additional road to access your
lie about New York
destination.
City?
You're lying. Don't call me a liar here.
I'm calling you a liar because you've lied continually.
This is the one area where you have to pay $9 every single day to access Manhattan. That doesn't exist anywhere else.
Every single program where you have tolled highways is under the same
Why don't we
program.
fight for the people who can't afford to pay that pricing? Why shouldn't everyone have access to the city? And if you're going to force people into a subway, make sure it's safe. Very simple.
It's safe. I gave you the statistics.
I gave you the stats.
Well, your statistics are wrong.
Mr. Nadler, do you see my middle finger? Would you like me to place it up your buttocks? Because I'd happily do so. I'm telling you, this is out of control. I'm going to do something here before that starts playing again. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has out-fundraised Mamdani as well as Cuomo. Again, I'm all in on Adams. I mean, it's not my state. My state's fucked up enough. I'm trying to deal with that and work through these things. But New York, New Yorkers, you got to do it your own East Coast way, yo. You know, sometimes out here in California, we're a little more laid back. We'll probably smoke a bowl first and then think about it. But ultimately, we got to deal. All of us got to deal. Mayor Eric Adams is doing pretty good. Love it. Maureen Comey, Epstein prosecutor and daughter of ex-FBI chief Comey. She's been fired, finally. Now let's just talk about a few things. And this hopefully will put some perspective, because my guess is Trump is very aware of what this chick's been doing. She works for SDNY. SDNY. SDNY is where the Epstein stuff is. SDNY, which we were locked out of. SDNY, where literally Kash Patel had to send agents in so they could get stuff that they wouldn't give us. So we've had this Maureen Comey chick having access to all that stuff. She was involved with the Diddy case. She was involved with the Epstein case. She's been involved in a whole lot of these things. How do we know that no information has been manufactured? I think this is one of the things, and we're going to get to it, one of the things that Trump's super concerned about is that they've manufactured something that's somehow going to tie Trump to Epstein. We had Elon Musk that already hinted it, which is very disturbing just by itself. Very disturbing. But now we've got this possibility where some weird thing got shoved in there that's going to somehow make it look like Trump was on Epstein Island, or they somehow bring up Epstein plane and they leave out the fact that he was flying, I think, from Florida up to New York or something to that effect, Bedminster or something like that, I don't know, wherever it was not to the island. So what if Trump just releases all the files, and then Maureen Comey had snuck a few things in there? That's why he's saying, I want Bondi to release anything that's authentic, anything that's legitimate, anything that's real, whatever the word was that he used, rather than everything. Because, much like the Steele dossier, much like the Russia collusion, much like the laptop, much like the 51 intelligence agents, we can't fucking trust what's in there. And Trump's like, I know what they're going to do. There's going to be some salacious shit in there, and it's going to cause his MAGA base to turn on him. It's already done that, by the way. A lot of his MAGA base, chunk of his MAGA base, the shitty ones, the people that have no ability to think for themselves, the people that are probably controlled by the deep state that have not woken up yet. Look, we've been through a lot to get Trump into office. They have done everything they can to destroy Trump. So to say, Dan, are you just going to trust him willy-nilly? There was not, and still is not, one single choice other than Trump that made any sense. Not one single person was willing to take the slings and arrows like Trump. Not one single person. So you want to kick Trump out of office and then what? Not saying you guys per se, might be a few of you out there, but that's the funniest question. Wait, you going to trade Trump out for what? What? Give me one guess. And then tell me, you're going to trust that individual more than Trump, who's literally had everything arrested, literally been fined? E. Jean Carroll? Are you fucking shitting me? And you're just going to get pissed at people for blindly trusting Trump? How about blindly not trusting him? Again, the information that we have around Epstein's shoddy at best. Tucker Carlson claiming that there's more to this and there's ties to Mossad. That was Tucker Carlson, based off of the dad. There's no facts there. Again, an individual we all want to trust got fired from Fox. He was on Fox to begin with, which meant he was deep state. Now, he might be better than some, maybe. Musk was deep state. He was wearing the Baphomet fighting costume thing. His mom was hardcore deep state. He's been given these opportunities and become the richest man in the world, or our country, at least not the world, I think our country. So what, we trust him though? It's absolutely insane to me, but this is really what the concern is. She's been fired now, and they'll probably look at anything she's touched. I'm sure Bondi's going to start going through that stuff immediately if she's not already. Because ultimately, that's the thing. If we can find the bullshit that they've stuck in there, and this is, a lot of people are going to be able to spin this, well, something got removed because I know I put it there. Yeah, the bullshit that you put in there, yeah, Maureen, that's why we fired you, because you suck. And your dad's a pile of shit. This is exactly where we are. And again, how it gets spun, who spins it, how they spin it, I just think it's fantastic. I really do. We've got James Comey's daughter inspected missing Epstein suicide footage. So just, obviously a coincidence, right? James Comey's daughter, inspected the missing Epstein suicide footage. The missing, I don't know, I've heard up to 3 minutes. The article that I saw that said that said there was a minute 2 missing, and then somehow there's another minute that's not anywhere plain to be seen. I think it was like 11:58:58 was the timestamp, and then we knew that the last minute was missing, so then there's minute and 2 seconds, and somehow there's another 2 minutes. I don't know where the hell that's at. But she's the one that inspected the suicide footage. She was, I think, the one that was prosecuting against Epstein. They didn't want Epstein to get busted and probably doctored, maybe, possibly, could have doctored information. She's from a family we can't trust. She's from one of the deep state families. Sorry, she's not getting a pass. I'm going to assume the worst with her. I am assuming guilt until proven innocent in the case of her. So Maureen Comey, the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey, was fired. We don't know why, by the way, because maybe they found some stuff that she's put into files that don't belong. Trump can't say that, right? Because how would that play? How would the deep state run with that in the media? All these people are like, just release it all and then just see what happens. We can't. We've come this far. They're definitely going to put shit in there that's meant to mess it up further for us. And we don't stick together at all. Horribly so. We suck at sticking together. We're fucking horrible at it. For any one of you guys who trust the plan, no one fucking trusts the plan. And that's what's not, I mean, you've got, as an individual, you've kind of got to make a stance. Like they say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And this is one of the things that we're most guilty of on our side of the fence. I've given countless examples over this week. This fucking week sucks. This has been, not that it's been hard, it's been amazing what it's done to our own people. That's what's been hard about this. It's just, and I've had some people, and singular people, that will post on X or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, I don't think it's as many people as you think, Dan. I don't know. I know Laura Loomer's got a huge audience, especially compared to someone like me. Right? When someone tells me that it's not as bad, I'm like, fuck. We got Laura Loomer talking about it. We got Alex, what the fuck's it? Like, why can't I remember his stupid name anymore? That's so funny. Doesn't matter. Right? Like, Jones. There we go. Fudge. Right? I just, these people are huge. They have millions of followers. And then they say things, and it causes issues. Dan Bongino, great example as well. Again, not trying to slam the guy in any way, shape, or form. The first two people, a little more slanderous. Dan Bongino, I've ultimately got respect for. But the little stunt he pulled with this Bondi thing, that's just bad on him, in my opinion. You stepped away from Trump, who you say you swear, oh, I've got Trump's back no matter what. Do ya? Because Trump chose Pam Bondi. And you are causing a problem with that. Dan Bongino needs to come out publicly and be like, nah, I was just taking some time off, or weird, whatever. I don't know what he's going to say. He's got to come up with some shit because, frankly, we've got these people that are doing significant damage to our own selves. We've given the child the gun, and we're just constantly, fuck, he's going to shoot me. He keeps pointing at me. What'd you give it to him for? Again, we will get through this. This is part of it. We are heading to that come to Jesus moment. Project Veritas catches Secret Service guard compromising the White House security. Dudes, again, it's always the girls hitting on, or boys even for that matter. It goes both ways. But Project Veritas invited to the White House by a Secret Service agent trying to prove where he was at. Literally showed her exactly where he was located, which you can't do when you're on duty. And then on top of that, he had some bad words to say about Trump. Doing a lot of wacky shit right now, Donald Trump is doing right now. And this is the Secret Service that's protecting him. Literally almost a year to the date after the Butler assassination. Now, I will bet the farm that this guy doesn't work for Secret Service anymore. If you're not loyal to the president as Secret Service, you're not sticking around. And this is one of those places where you don't want politicized. We saw that. He got shot. That's what happens when you have politicized people in the ranks. Got to have people that you trust that trust you. You just have to. I can hear the left making their stupid arguments, but they're just stupid arguments. It's like, well, we don't trust you. You guys do crazy stuff. You try to dox people. You do all sorts of wild, crazy shit on the left. So, no, we don't trust you at all. Thanks. You guys have ruined your credibility. It's not anything we've done. You guys say we're the violent ones because of January 6th, though we broke some windows. We had a bunch of people there, scared of them, but we didn't really do any serious damage. I mean, again, I'll fall on that sword all day, but for the most part, it was nonviolent. They wanted violence. They didn't get it, even with the agitators. But people on the left, you guys burn shit down. You guys throw rocks at cars. You guys do a lot of really messed up stuff. And again, one of my favorite things about people on the left is you never, ever, ever hear a person on the left admit fault. Ever. Ever. It is always someone else's fault other than the people on the left. Always. It is never their fault. And that's impossible. Statistically impossible. What it means is that these people can't actually self-reflect. They're incapable. So there is some places where common ground won't be found, and frankly, I don't know. At this point, we probably just don't care. The overwhelming majority of people are going to be supporting what we do. We've got some problems in the ranks. We're finding them. This is part of the joy of what we're going through. Trump explains objection to Epstein's release. He says, I can imagine what they put in the files. And he, quote here, but they ought to look into the Jeffrey Epstein hoax too, because that's another hoax that's frankly put out by the Democrats, pushing the Republicans, and put out by the Democrats, he said, clarifying. I can imagine what they put into the files, just like they did with the others. I mean, the Steele dossier was a total fake, right? It took 2 years to figure that out. So I would imagine if they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before the administration, they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake. That's what might be really hard for people to digest. They've literally set the Epstein stuff up. They built the narrative that we followed. Again, anytime someone comes on and says, I got credentials, and they're on Dan Bongino's show, or they're on Alex Jones' show, or they're on Laura Loomer's show, getting millions of views, and everyone assumes because they got credibility, they got credentials, I should say, that the cred and the credentials gives them credibility. And it doesn't. They still could lie. Just like, and I don't know, he's been better lately. I don't want to say his name, but the ex-CIA gentleman. Like, okay, you're ex-CIA, so what, we're supposed to trust you? Maybe somehow you became good. I get you call yourself that, but you were in the CIA. There's a strong chance that you're fucking with us like they're doing here. Trump's one of the few things I trust. Kash Patel, one of the few things I trust. I can't speak for Bondi, but I like her a lot. I'm not going to speak for Dan Bongino, but I like him a lot. Oh, Besant, love that dude. That dude I love. Navarro, love that dude. Who else? Who else do I really feel like has owned up to this and owned it and been it the whole time? Like, these are the people I trust. I haven't wavered. I mean, I've been all over the place. I mean, I won't just give Trump a pass on stuff sometimes, but there's never been a question in my mind at all that Trump is the dude, and whoever he chooses is, yeah, I'm okay. That's who I'm supporting. I don't know. There's way too many things at stake here that I am not privy to. It's a hoax, folks. Whoops, that's how I keep doing that. Of course, GOP Senator Tom Tillis demanding that they release the documents. Tom Tillis, we know this is a pile of shit, this dude. We know Tom Tillis is a deep state rhino bastard piece of shit. Put out the files. Right, Tom. Hey, fuck you, dude. Fuck you, man. I'm just tired of it. Tired of these people. We need the change. We're getting there. I think that's part of this is just getting so disgusted with these bastards that we're like, we got to get rid of them. And again, maybe the Brunson case will be the way we do it. That'd be cool. I'm up for it. I mean, that's part of what's building the energy towards it. Riley Gaines posts this. Was it stupid and foolish when he campaigned on releasing the files? Are Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Alina Habba all foolish and stupid for peddling this for the past 6 months? Why on earth is he doing this? This is Riley Gaines, the one that Trump took men out of women's sports, and she finally got her title that she deserved. Johnny MAGA, well, he had something to say to her. President Trump campaigned on getting men out of women's sports, something you've built your entire brand off of, and he delivered. He didn't mention Epstein one time on the campaign trail, and he didn't. Go find it. People might claim it. Tell them to show. Show me, don't tell me. Give me proof of it. Well, I don't know where it's at. And then fuck you. Don't say it happened because it didn't happen. It didn't happen unless you can show me proof it did. And I don't want writing where someone quoted him. No, I want the audio. I want to hear him say it. I don't want some stupid quote. That ain't going to work. Those are faked all the damn time. And I agree with his final statement. Shameful how disloyal some people are. Riley Gaines, shame on you. With everything that MAGA has done for you, and then you turn on us that easily. I don't know where the word stupid should be pushed right now, but feel like you might want to look in the mirror, sweetheart. Trump embraces special prosecutor for the weaponization probe, and Epstein vows new declassification. So this idea of moving towards this special prosecutor is happening. Who it's going to be is going to be very, very interesting. I don't know. For all the people that are like, it's Matt Gaetz. No, it's not. Matt Gaetz even came out and said the rumor wasn't true. That was a fun rumor that I saw spread by extra people. Again, we have either just people that really suck at vetting information, and I make mistakes too. But I put a lot more effort into it than it seems on others sometimes. But we got some people that either suck at vetting or intentionally push stories. There's actually someone that I used to get some of my news from that I've stopped getting news from because there's this weird push at an angle that I was like, why do you keep doing that? Why do you keep sharing those types of stories? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? And I think some people are like, well, it's news. No, it's not. If it's fake, if it's wrong, if it's alleged sources, if it's Axios, and you're pushing it and you're giving it voice, it's not news. You just made it news. And it's bad news. It's fake news. And now you're just like NBC. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll see how many of us survive, self-included. I mean, I'm picking on people hardcore. I'm definitely punching up. But I get I'm pissing people off. Not supposed to talk about these sacred people. They're big, Dan. They're bigger than you. Obviously, they're better than you. That's certainly a conclusion one could come to. I don't think it's true, but... President Donald Trump criticized the investigation of the investigators run by former Justice Department Special Counsel John Durham. He liked the stuff that came from Michael Horowitz. He didn't necessarily like what Durham did. Now, didn't the Q Post talk about Durham, trust Durham? And Trump's kind of criticizing Durham because he had an opportunity to do the right thing. Bill Barr had the opportunity to do the right thing and didn't. Trump got let down by the very people that he was expecting to protect and have his back. They didn't. Maybe they were afraid because Trump wasn't going to be there anymore. Maybe they were too deep state. Maybe they were afraid of what the press would do to him. Bill Barr, for sure, was a pussy. Durham, I don't know. I mean, guy never talked. When I finally heard his voice one time, it tripped me out. It's like, that's what he sounds like. Holy crap. And then one time I brought that up too, and someone sent me the fake Durham that was running around making videos. He's like, here he is. I'm like, this fuck, man. Really? I don't know if it's I don't know if this is people that are trying to be a bad influence on me, like trying to take me down the wrong road. I always wonder, because this happens often. People give me just horribly bad information. Like, here's the answer you're asking for. And I'm like, it's wrong. You're completely wrong. Like, you didn't even bother to look up anything, or are you just trying to get me to say this stupid horse shit? Because it's weird. This is an interesting little bit. John Solomon's a rock star these days. I'm bumming out on Just the News a lot. There's a weird angle that's coming from them as well. They still get some good stuff out there. I don't feel like John Solomon's writing it all. At least I hope not. But they've definitely, if anyone is on the staff in my audience from Just the News, dude, you got some shit writers in there. You got some lefties, and it's not giving you balance. You got people that are going down the Politico path. Be careful. That's all I'm going to say, because it's going to ruin your brand. That's what it's going to do. If you start playing those games, you're going to ruin your brand. Here's John Solomon and what's-her-face talking to Trump on the phone. Pretty good stuff. Check it out.
Sir, I want to dive into something we confirmed earlier this week. The FBI under Kash Patel has opened a grand conspiracy case looking at the last decade of weaponization against you and the protection of Democrats like Hunter Biden and Hillary Clinton as one ongoing criminal conspiracy. I want to ask what you think of that approach and whether you think a special prosecutor might be warranted.
Well, I'm happy that they did that. I don't know much about it, but it deserves to be done. It was a disgrace what happened. And what happened in 2016 and what happened in 2020. It's a disgraceful situation, and our voting has to be straightened out. I always say, if you don't have borders, if you don't have fair and free voting, you don't have a country. And we have disgraceful voting that they spend all of this money on voting, and some of the votes don't come back for weeks later. The whole thing it's a scam, and we have to straighten it out.
For all the things that have happened, there's the Russia collusion against you, there is Jack Smith against you, there's all the things that happened in 2020, not investigating China interference in the 2020 election. What are the things that are most important that you would like to see the FBI get to the bottom of?
I think they could look at all of it. It's all the same scam. They could look at this Jeffrey Epstein hoax also, because that's the same stuff. That's all put out by Democrats.
Yeah.
And, some of the naive Republicans fall right into line like they always do. They just don't have the sustainability. They don't have they don't have that stick to it like glue. The Democrats, they have bad policy. They have bad candidates. They have bad everything. But they stick together. The Republicans don't do that. But they ought to look into the Jeffrey Epstein hoax too, because that's another hoax that's frankly put out by the pushing the Republicans and put out by the Democrats.
No, they definitely set the Republicans up. One big prosecutor look at it all. Would that make you feel good, you think?
Well, I think it's in the case of Epstein, they've already looked at it, and they are looking at it, and I think all they have to do is put out anything credible. But, that was run by the Biden administration for 4 years. I can imagine what they put into files, just like they did with the others. I mean, the Steele dossier was a total fake.
Right.
They took 2 years to figure that out for the people. And all of the things that you mentioned were fake. Yep. So I would imagine if they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration, they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me, but especially you look at that Steele dossier where they paid like 14 or 16 million. That's more than James Patterson gets paid to do a #1 bestseller.
Isn't that crazy?
And the thing turned out to be a total scam. So frankly, I think I love that they're looking at all this stuff. If they are, I hope they are.
Yeah, we've definitely confirmed it. They definitely are.
Mr. President, this is something that could give the American people answers on 3 different elections, 2016, 2020, and 2024. But to get that rolling, there are 2 sets of documents that are key to identifying possible conspiracy. But a grand jury can't see them unless you declassify them. Would you declassify the classified annex in the Hillary Clinton email case, as Senator Grassley has been asking?
Well, I would do that. I would do that, absolutely. I think it should be looked at. The whole thing was a scam.
Yeah.
And I would do that gladly.
Great. And there's one other one I want to mention. In the Durham report, they talk about the Clinton plan intelligence, the intercept where Hillary Clinton approves hanging that Russian shingle on your campaign house. That's another one that hasn't yet been declassified. Was that another one you'd consider declassifying?
I would declassify it. Yeah, why not? I would absolutely declassify it. And I will say this, the Durham report was preceded by the Horowitz report.
That's
and
right.
Bill Barr should have used the Horowitz report. You didn't need the Durham report because
That's right.
Say what you want about Mr. Horowitz, though. He was appointed by Democrats, but he wrote the most vicious and true report that you've ever seen on somebody, and that was on James Comey.
Yep.
and I believe, a couple of the people in the FBI that were crooked. But this report was so big, and then go back and check, even the New York Times wrote a violent editorial about Comey based on this report.
Yep.
And for some reason, Bill Barr didn't use it. It's such a disappointment, but he didn't use it. But that was one of the big things, and it got very little press. I think it was approximately 28 pages of corruption, absolute corruption.
You're right.
And that should have been used. Well, instead, Barr wanted to do a further report.
Yeah.
So he put Durham in charge, and, Durham took years. I mean, it took so many years. I think it was just a tapping. I think you ought to look at that, too. Why did they tap it along? They tapped it along forever. Do you remember how long it took for Durham to come out with his report?
23.
By the time he came out with a report, everybody was old and looking to retire.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. No
Mr.
doubt.
President, I want to shift to the
But I'd love you to look at the Horowitz report. It was absolutely incredible and had more credibility because he's a Democrat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So again, it's fun to hear it from Trump's words, as far as I'm concerned. Again, probably spending too long talking about a lot of this. Here's Trump signing the permanently classifying fentanyl-related substances as a Schedule I drug under the Controlled Substance Act. This is going to bum a lot of people out that are addicted to fentanyl, but for the rest of us, this is going to help, I guess, in the big picture somehow. Here's some interesting CNN and their just overwhelming shock every time Trump's numbers, because I don't know if you guys have been seeing the headlines lately that Trump's numbers, his numbers are going down. CNN for Quinnipiac and one of the other ones, not the case, actually. Kind of strange how that's playing out.
Look, I think this one surprised me a bit because of all these complaints online going after Trump and the Epstein files. You might think his approval ratings were going down, Republicans. If anything, they're going up. Republicans who approve of Trump, look at our CNN poll. The prior one, 86%. The one out this week, 88% were Republicans. How about Quinnipiac? The prior poll, 87% approve of Republicans. This week out, 90% with Republicans. If anything, Donald Trump's approval rating has gone up since this whole Epstein saga started. He is at the apex, or close there too, in terms of his popularity with Republican voters, Epstein files, complaints, or not.
You just proved that not everything online is real.
Yes,
in real life.
Who knew?
All right, she's too stupid to even allow to continue. But yeah, not everything seen on CNN is worth watching. Whatever. Washington State, was this? U.S. is going to curtail practice of assessing fairness of foreign elections. Oh, yeah, Marco Rubio put this out, basically saying, unless we have some sort of direct involvement, we are not going to basically criticize other countries' elections. I think the main reason for this is we're about to very much come out with information that, one, our elections have been messed with by China. That's a actual war crime type thing. Like literally, we could tell China, you owe us a bunch of money. And they'll be like, we're not going to give it to you. And we'll be like, all right, so every single bit of property that China owns in the United States is immediately taken away. Immediately. And that's just a start. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen. Things are going to get interesting. But we're going to stop giving other countries a hard time about their elections because we're about to find out how bad ours have been. And it's hard to lecture people, right? The fun stated thing in the Bible, you see the splinter in another man's eye, but you don't see the log in your own. And someone was recently talking about how that's a perspective thing, which is funny. It's another way to look at it, but it's an odd way to look at it, I feel, where it's like, well, yeah, the splinters, but it's right next to your eye, so it looks huge. But I think the point of the parable is not so much we see the flaw in others when we don't notice the giant-ass flaws that the hypocrite part of ourselves is doing, right? You point a finger out and three are pointing back at you. That's what the log is, I think. Anyway, whatever. It can be whatever it is, whatever it wants to be. MyPillow, they've got some special stuff because they thought we were going to meet this Wednesday. So they gave us the slippers. That was a big deal. My guess is they're going to let us keep them for a week. So you guys got about a week, maybe a little week and a half to take advantage of these slippers. Then they're gone. This isn't one of those things that's going to stick around. This leather spray is some weird shit they're putting on here. It's cool, by the way. I love it. I want to buy some. I got a couple things that I think it would work really well on. The car, I don't know. I would do some checking on the ingredients. I don't know. That's one thing I'm curious about, but inside for sure. Yeah, it's just I've got a couple things that are leather. I got a, it's just it helps. And the Giza sheets right now, this sale, any size, the king size was like $130 when they were advertising $67 for twins. Like this is you can get king size sheets or queen or smaller, $49.98. In fact, the twins were $67.98. So even if you've got twins that you want to buy, it's cheaper. But it's way cheaper. It's about $80 cheaper than the normal sale. It's the Giza cotton too. That's their high thread count. They're awesome sheets. It's the only ones I use. I don't bother with the other ones. I mean, first off, how many sets of sheets do I need? And I've got like 4 sets. Again, I buy them the same way you do. I gotta have some stuff so I can talk about it. My slippers. Incredible. These things are like putting your foot in a cloud. They've got stitching on the side. There's like 7 layers to the sole. It's a rubber non-stick sole, or non-slip, I should say. You can wear them outside. In my mind, that's like weird, but I mean, they're inside shoes for me. My girlfriend's got like an old pair that she uses outside, so there's ways you can go about it. But they'll hold up. I mean, especially if you throw that protector on there, the suede, you can wear them outside all you want. Their towels are the best. Any of the towels you can get of MyPillow are incredible. The kitchen towels are really nice, just absorbent. I think that's the thing I like most about them is they're absorbent, and they feel different than normal towels to me. Not bad, different, and they work better. So it's just kind of weird thing where I think psychologically I've had to adjust, and I've just noticed they work better. And so it's a funny thing when they don't put a bunch of chemicals in the material. Then it doesn't feel weird like most of the towels you've probably used growing up. You seriously got to try their bath towels specifically. They're incredible. They got 50% off on the beach towels too, and these are really big. They're actually really, really big towels. Really nice, good colors, all sorts of crazy stuff. They're really cool. Check them out. And again, they got the roll and go pillows with we believe they got religious stuff. They've got patriotic stuff, mattresses. Oh, the best pillow ever, the Mike Cross. They got all sorts of great stuff. MyPillow.com/OTF. Use coupon code OTF. It's MyPillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. Trump is, he says when it comes to balancing the budget, we actually got a shot to do this. He's talking about how we've already brought in $106 billion in tariff revenue. I don't know what it ever was with the Biden administration, if it was at all. There was probably very little tariff money brought in at all during the entire Biden administration. I'm betting in the first 6 months, we're already way past what they did his whole presidency. We're $106 billion so far. They're expecting to hit 300 billion tariffs probably by the end of the year, they're saying. So this is different. This is where you've got the External Revenue Service instead of the IRS. There's been some discussion about possibly getting rid of the IRS. Using the ERS more, let's put it that way. That I think is more what the statement was in relation to. But there was discussions about if we could balance our budget without taxes, or if we can balance our budget, then we can start pulling back on taxes, right? That's kind of what they did with this new bill. Indonesia's they made a deal with us for this new tariff thing, and they're hooking us up with some copper. They're buying 50 Boeing jets, and they're going to buy $15 billion in U.S. energy. So this is kind of how Trump works these deals. And when they buy our stuff, then we get taxes and revenue, and it creates jobs, and right, like it helps our country big time. Rather than offshoring things where we lose the jobs, now we've actually got reason to have jobs. Like I might have to actually start doing a real job one of these days. I'd like to go to the defense industry. I think it'd be fun. I don't know if I could qualify in and stuff. I'm a pretty good business analyst, maybe. But I don't know. Let's see. U.S. vows to quit IEA if the agency keeps pushing green transition. The IEA is the International Energy Agency. They're doing all this green crap. Essentially, U.S. is saying, like, look, here's the thing. We're not really all about that. That's not our thing. We don't support it. We don't think it's true. So if you're going to keep pushing it on everybody else, we're just going to separate from you guys. It's kind of bad on our rep, if you know what I mean. So we'll see what IEA does, because I'm sure, like many of these agencies, we pay a lot of money. Now, they were created in the aftermath of the 1970s Arab oil embargo. It's supposed to forecast energy demand. If they can forecast energy demand properly, then it does a service that's actually useful, because then they can tell, shit, do we need more oil? Oh, crap, we got a problem, right? Or generating electricity might even be part of that too. So the IEA sounds like it's got a function that used to be cool, but they've gotten into all this weird stuff. And yeah, so we'll see what happens. It'd be nice to be able to keep them. China is finalizing new export controls on crucial mine processing technology. So it's stuff that creates like the little diodes and the lithium batteries and like some of the little odd components, not necessarily the heavy metals, though some it says mine processing. I would assume maybe some of the technology that helps them refine and get lithium out of stuff. They probably are being careful about giving out these technologies. Why? Because maybe we'd learn something from them and steal from you, China, like you do from everybody else. Really? Now you're going to be like, we're going to protect our secrets, but we still want to see everything you've got. Jesus. China, you're lucky the food's so good and your chicks are so hot. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. I don't know what's up with you, buddy. I don't know what's happening with she. China threatens to squash Panama Port's deal unless its shipping giant gets an equal stake. I mean, they want to come to the big people table. I get it. Steel's valued at around $20 billion. They're handing over, there's some companies handing over 40 global ports owned by the Hong Kong business magnate Li Ka-shing. Yeah, so BlackRock and Mediterranean Shipping Company are getting a bunch of it, but China's like demanding that Costco be a part of this, or they're going to block it, which I assume is from the world courts or something strange. I don't know. We'll see. As long as we keep Panama, that would probably be the one deal that Trump would make. He'd be like, I'm okay with it, but you don't get shit in Panama. And I still think Trump's going to be like, no, the option is we just take over Panama. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. I'm not going to do shit about it. That's what's going to happen. We built it. We took it back. It's ours. Fuck you. You guys are being dicks. That was a bad idea. We're not giving it back to you ever again. Another tariff win as American industrial output surges. Again, we're up 0.3% GDP. It was expected to be 0.1. We're at 0.3. Now, again, not huge, but when you're talking about lots of money for a country, yeah, that's a big deal. Trump's growing the economy. Again, things are getting better. So, of course, the stock market's slightly happy. Again, there's just been this weird general flatness. Gold's, it's so up and down. It's just funny how they've tried to dip the money, and I think they do it so certain people can get better prices. They probably know the time of day where it's going to hit its low mark, or they're involved in how it got to that point, and then they buy a bunch of gold while it's as cheap as it possibly going to be. I think there's some manipulation that's happening. Silver's another good one that you want to keep in mind. It's down a little. It's at 38 right now. It got up over to 39. The expectation is it's going to see 50 in the not too distant future, and likely I've heard up to 80 over a period of time. Silver's going to, when silver breaks, I'm going to say that's where I think our dollar's about to drop. Like that's where the Fed's about to be done, or I mean, yeah, and it's probably not that far away. I think, again, Trump's trying to get all the infrastructure in place so we can finally handle this, and I think we're getting there. It's why this Epstein thing's more of a distraction in his mind, because he's got, like, wars to stop, economies to take care of, tariffs to handle for every single state and country, right? And the fact that I'm having to take questions about this stupid shit right now, and I get where some people's arguments are, but ultimately trying to save the world, and there are people that are worried about hundreds of people that have been abused, and which is horrible. It's absolutely horrible, but we're also talking millions and millions, billions of people in the big picture that we're trying to, stop killing, stop wars, get balance. Ukrainian mayor wants to trade Putin's body. I don't know, they had some statues. I guess Putin's was part of that. But it was more indicative of how the communist left likes to come into a location, this is Ukraine, and they cut down all the statues, they cut down all the history, they destroy any remembrance of who you once were, and then build anew. That's what they were doing with all of the, changing the names of the army bases and getting rid of statues here in the United States. It's what the communists do. There can only be the state. There can't be these leaders and people you look up to. It's the state you look up to, or you're not going to look up to anybody. Similarity between Ukraine and Nazi Germany. Medvedev was talking about former president of Russia, and it really is. He's like, what was happening to Germany at the end of World War II is exactly what Ukraine's going through right now, and so they need to be demilitarized, denazified, and democratized, essentially. Kiev setting the stage for chemical disaster, Moscow says. They've managed to put some sort of intelligence gathering device or something to that effect next to an ammonia pipeline, right next to it. So if they blow this thing up, it most likely will bust the ammonia pipeline and create a catastrophic chemical spill. Ammonia is very, very poisonous, would kill a whole bunch of people that were nearby. You're not supposed to do stuff like that. It's one thing to actually put people inside, buildings or hospitals. Like, that's wrong too. You're not allowed to do that, put soldiers inside of hospitals. They did it a lot in Gaza and all that. But yeah, sticking stuff right next to where if it's blown up, it's a legit target, and you're putting it right next to something that they're going to have to figure out how to sabotage it in another way. But nobody cares what Russia cries about. New 7-year EU budget is going to propose 100 billion euros for Ukraine. I guess rebuilding, I'm hoping, because they're going to need it. But yeah, there's 2028 to 2034 budget and $100 billion they're not going to spend on helping themselves, but try to help a country that's not even part of the European Union. So we're already going to give you a bunch of money. Now, again, that's how this works, this control thing works. Obviously, there's a very big drawback to being a country in the European Union, as we're finding out. Ursula von der Leyen's a huge part of that problem because, she can just decide unilaterally what countries have to do. Countries have no autonomy anymore. That was a big mistake on their part. Huge. Trump sprang Ukraine's surprise on NATO states, they're saying. That might be true. He supposedly didn't tell anybody like Canada or any of those people that we were going to say, yeah, we're not giving them any more shit for free. You guys can go ahead and send them your stuff, and then we'll go ahead and let you buy some new stuff from us. That's what we'll do. And none of them knew Trump was going to do that. And that's what this is really funny is. I think a lot of them figured, they're going to have to because Russia's just annihilating Ukraine. And Trump's like, we're not giving you any more shit. First off, Zelensky's doing a piss poor job negotiating this. Nobody's trying to work on peace. There's no end in sight in this war. We're not going to keep funding it. Now what are you going to do? You want to come to the table yet? Nope. Okay. So again, Zelensky's still running around, give me weapon, give me weapon, give me weapon. No, nobody's got weapons to give you. And in fact, right now, everybody's so afraid that Russia's going to invade the rest of Europe. You want to go ahead and give up your protective weapons? Feel free, Trump is saying. He's pushing it back on them, and he's got the political muster right now to pull it off. That's what it comes down to. Give him 50 days. Like, Russia, get this shit done, man. That's all I can say. Russia unleashes another ferocious attack, the most crazy attack since. Every day, that's what they say. Every day. I mean, this doesn't sound as bad as what we got, I think, a day ago. This was only 400 drones. They had 650, supposedly, a day or two ago. And this had one ballistic missile shot with a ballistic missile. It's like, whoa, wow. You shot a whole ballistic missile? Woo. Right? Like, that's not impressive. Shit, Korea, they launch more than one at a time. Come on, Russia. Get out of here. But it might actually, honestly, show that maybe Russia's running down on some of its supplies too, by the way. They're holding on to some of these missiles just in case. You can only make them so fast, and they've been using a lot of them. I mean, again, it's all funny how this stuff plays out, right? Like, nobody really knows. Now, Israel apparently, it seems, is starting another war. There's some decent theories running around about why they're doing this, why they're trying to take southern Syria. Again, this is weird. It's like, now you're going to take land that wasn't necessarily yours. Like, the borders were always Syrian, but somehow it ties into, I think, our bases and this little, I don't know, it was Ghost Patrick, I think was the guy I saw a little snippet of, and I was like, man, it's as good a thought as any, as far as I'm concerned, but I see it as they're literally attacking another country. I don't know why. They're claiming that they're protecting this group, this Druze group, and the Druze group is being attacked by the current Syrian government's people. And the Druze group, they were fond of the original government, the Assad regime. So Israel is protecting the old Assad regime, which was definitely corrupt and horrible, and working with Iran. And the Druze are probably Khazarians, folks. Let's just call them what they are. So Israel is protecting and going to war, literally bombing the capital, which is not where the Druze people are, but the capital, they're blowing the shit out of it. Many, 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 many miles away from where the Druze are. All because the Druze are being attacked by Damascus, and they're there to protect them. This is smells. This is deep state nastiness. This is Netanyahu, I think, really finally showing his hand of who he is. This is not necessary from the standpoint of what's going on. This could have been handled a lot of different other ways. You don't just start bombing the capital of Damascus. Obviously, Damascus is in the Bible, too. So talk Magog, or Gog Magog. This is the attempt of the deep state via Israel to get a friggin' world war going. They wanted it with Iran. That was supposed to happen. They still want it. They're not giving up. This is not cool, what's going on. This is fucked up. U.S. has launched over 50 airstrikes in Somalia in 2025. Virtually no mainstream media coverage. They're taking out ISIS, supposedly, and they've been quiet about this, which is strange. But yeah, they've been doing this. They've got almost a record number of attacks. Trump, I think, did 63 in 2019. So we're taking out deep state stuff, and they're being quiet about it. That's what this is, but frankly, we'll see. And again, remember, ISIS originally was the Israeli Secret Service. They're the Israeli Special something Intelligence Services or something weird like that. But it was Israel. Again, we'll see. We'll see. Iran seizes foreign oil tanker in the Sea of Oman, one of the dark fleets. So Iran took it. It seems weird. Maybe this was payment back for one of the ships that we sank or something. I don't know. This is very strange to me that they're allowed to do this. We're not or it's Iran's attempt to try to get, again, the war with Iran or with Israel to step up. So they just take a boat and like, aha, we're going to steal a ship. It's like, all right, we'll just steal a ship back from you. Like, I don't know. There's probably ways to deal with it that don't require bombing their capital. We don't need to run into Tehran right now. You stole a ship. Boosh. High Court ends UK government's £7 billion ban or Afghan resettlement cover-up. This thing we talked about yesterday. Good for you guys, by the way. Apparently it made enough noise that we managed to get the injunction broken. The High Court has lifted the super injunction obtained by the UK government and has concealed a massive £7 billion secret resettlement program for thousands of Afghan nationals. Yeah. Damning judgment that accused ministers of suppressing democratic accountability and misleading Parliament. This is big deal. Big, big deal. So I don't know. Hopefully England can do something with that. Labour government kills voter ID law and is now slashing the voting age to 16. England, this was a big fail, though. It's a UK law. Now we're going to let children vote because, well, we've brainwashed all the children, so at least they'll vote Labour Party or whatever your uber progressive thing is. Maybe it's the Conservatives. You guys always have weird-ass titles in there. The Conservative Party can be the most left-leaning, right? And you're like, wait, I thought they were conservative. It's like, yeah, no, they're just made-up words. King Charles gives Queen Camilla a new royal title. I don't know. People in England probably give a shit about this. It's supposedly a big deal. I don't know. The coveted title of Vice Admiral of the United Kingdom to his wife. That was nice of you. It's like, looks like Joe Biden almost, doesn't it? That's probably disrespectful. Good. Erdogan, his chief political rival, jailed in Turkey. I'm kind of going to go out on a ledge now and start to say, hey, I don't know if this Erdogan guy is a good... I don't know what's going on. He seems like a bad dude. It seems like he's just putting everyone in jail that's trying to run against him. That doesn't sound good. So, yeah, this Turkey may be a problem here at some point, or hopefully he's cleaning stuff up. Again, I was under the impression back in the day that he was, like, good. Again, I'm just confused. I don't know. There's all sorts of speculation around it. So, you know, you could tell me. I got emails from all sorts of people saying, you should hate him, and you should love him, you should hate him, you should love him. Like, I just get mixtures of stuff. So it's not like anyone's going to change my mind, per se. I'm open. I just don't know. It's very weird. Very strange. I just want to remind you guys, man, the wellness company, they've got this, man, I tripped, like, just that spot is going away. It is tripping me out. The freak, I'm just going to talk about here it is. The antiparasite. This is, again, I did a form of this, and I cheated, kind of, just because I was using older meds. They were expiring. And this is crazy with the mebendazole. That's got to be the difference, because ivermectin-wise, I was covering 25 milligrams a day, but I didn't have any mebendazole. And that, man, this is, I've noticed just all sorts of strange things. This is hardcore. My digestive system, like some weirdnesses around there. Not, I don't want to get specific, but stuff's dying, man. Stuff is dying and being sent to the city. I got this little spot thing. That's really what got me into this. Like, I need to do this cleanse, and that's shrinking. Initially, it stopped growing with the ivermectin. It's now shrinking. It's maybe half the size that it was. It's just tripping me out because I don't know where it came from. Kind of came quick, so it was what kind of scared me a little bit about it. And it wasn't obvious. It was just a discoloration. It looked like a birthmark, basically, but I didn't have a birthmark, so all said, probably wouldn't have been seen good by a doctor, right? This is causing it to shrink. Parasites are a funny thing in our bodies. That's all I can say. This is a game changer. They got other awesome products. Again, the emergency kits, you should look at all of them, but the Contagion one's very good for the antiviral stuff. If you've rolled up your sleeve, the Ultimate Spike Detox, unquestionably, they've got these metabolism. I mean, they've just got really good supplements, all of them. So you can look by goal. Just at least check it out. Go to twc.health/OTF. Just check out the stuff. There's probably something in here that you're like, oh, yeah, I could probably use some heart health. Right? There you go. twc.health/OTF. Healthy choices make healthy life. You just got to focus on being healthy. And this is a big part of that, by the way. Big part. I bet you some tests are going to look better than they might have. FDA commission responds to critics, says be patient with us on COVID-19 vaccines. Dr. Marty Makary, he urged patients after disclosing that he was aware of research indicating COVID-19 vaccines may cause immune system deregulation and described databases with self-reported adverse events as inadequate to determine harm from vaccines. Quote, I don't want people to think that we're blowing off safety signals that many people have described, end quote. He's also talking about, he says he personally knows of people who have been injured by the vaccine. I personally know of friends who have lost a loved one from the mRNA COVID vaccine. So I think it's reasonable at this time to say we want good, solid, definitive data, and the conditional limited approval of the COVID vaccines is in that framework that we want to see a proper data set come to us so we can take a good look at the data. So the FDA has for years cleared updated COVID-19 vaccines on an annual basis despite there being scant or no clinical trial data demonstrating the effectiveness of the shots. Makary and another top FDA official, Dr. Vinay Prasad, announced in May that regulators would not be issuing new licenses for vaccines for many Americans unless manufacturers ran trials based on clinical endpoints such as the prevention of symptomatic COVID-19, meaning it actually does what it's supposed to do. And this is going to be hard for some people because they've been told that we're all the ones that hate vaccines, right? We're just doing this because we hate vaccines. We're just trying to let everybody know that vaccines aren't good for you necessarily. At least we want to see the data. We want to see the data and find out if they are healthy, if there's maybe age ranges, if there's certain situations where people seem to have an elevated risk, maybe. We just know that the board of the FDA used to be full of people that were from Big Pfizer or Big Pharma. So, of course, they said yes. RFK Jr. and other Trump officials embrace psychedelics after FDA setback. Yeah, man, I'm seeing trails, man. Yeah. Wait, sorry. Yeah, apparently, psychedelics, LSD, ecstasy, possibly mushrooms, too. And to help with depression and trauma, if done with a actual doctor, I mean, can actually help. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, there is some truth to that. So again, I like the idea of mushrooms more than LSD and ecstasy. Those are two man-made things. Again, there's some weird stuff that's coming from the RFK thing. He wants everybody to wear a Fitbit too. He wants everybody to wear one of those, or anything that monitors, Apple Watch, a ring with the monitoring on it. He wants everybody to have one of those devices on. He believes that's going to help keep you safe. I think that's insane. There's no way in hell I'll ever wear one of those stupid devices. The worst is this thing, but I leave it in the other room frequently, right? Like hell no, right? So yeah, I'll never get a Fitbit. Never wear any of that stupid shit. Won't get an Apple. I won't get any one of those watches. I don't care about that stupid stuff. I actually have a real watch. I like it. Sometimes I wear that. It's beautiful. In fact, you guys in Houston, you saw me wearing it. Donald Trump posted this. I have been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar and Coke in the United States, and they have agreed to do so. I'd like to thank all of those in authority at Coca-Cola. This will be a very good move by them. Yeah, it will definitely help. Anything with cane sugar tastes way better than corn syrup, first. Second, I mean, it makes it less harmful. It's still not good for you. Anyway, if you're still drinking Coca-Cola, that's going to be a big step. Get the one with cane sugar. It's definitely better. It's less worse for you. Sugar is still the thing that a lot of people say feeds cancer, right? So cane sugar is just a less processed sugar. Still sugar, though. State Department calls on CCP to end campaign to eradicate Falun Gong. This is just sad. This has been happening for 26 years. The Chinese people have been going after these groups because, again, they're very spiritual. The people that practice Falun Gong, just, again, China doesn't believe, most people in China don't believe in God and stuff like that. There's none of that. They don't believe in afterlife. They don't necessarily believe in their soul. So a lot of these people that practice this Falun Gong are finding this weird sort of, calm comfort. It's helping them live better lives. They're finding themselves being healthier and just happier and all that kind of stuff. And China's just cracking down on it. It's very, very sad. It's very, very sad. A lot that and the Uyghurs, man. There's just some really messed up stuff that's happening out there. Dangers to AI and criminal activity has been examined by the House Judiciary Subcommittee. Again, this is one of those places where I worry that, I guess we've got our military version of AI. I'd just be happier if the military came out and said, yeah, don't worry, whatever you guys do to your version of AI is not going to affect the safety of this country or world. But if our AI is supposed to in any way, shape, or form, like help protect our bank accounts and stuff like that, because other AI could very easily attack, like help us create insanely gnarly passwords and then how we can store that in a safe way. So, because there's no way I'm going to remember a 256 letter long characters and ups and downs and there's no way I'm going to remember that and type that in every time, right? So how do you make that where that's not hackable? Again, we run into some problems. So, I don't know. People could use AI to commit crimes. Any tool can be used for bad things. It's not a reason to get rid of the tool. I'll say it over and over. Again, there's maybe some places where we should bust people if they use the tool for illegal stuff, rather than try to somehow code around it. You just can't. You get yourself into a coding corner is what happens. First Indian astronaut to visit the ISS returns to Earth, Shavahanshu Shukla. I'm sure I said that wrong. He was one of the people that came back on the new crew. They splashed down off the coast of San Diego, which is kind of groovy. India's first astronaut come back. So everybody came back happily, and I think it was a SpaceX that brought him. Yeah, SpaceX brought him home, which is groovy. That's what it looked like. They're all wearing their SpaceX suits. But they did some cool experiments while they were up there. Zero gravity. There's so many theories too about some of the crazy shit they make. And there's supposedly a number of these up there. We only know of the one, but there's supposedly a number of military space stations also. And they're dark. You can't really see them. Yeah, and again, for people that don't believe they can happen, then just forget what I was saying. All said, we've got a lot happening. I've got my Law of One show coming up here at 3 o'clock Pacific, so some of you guys will probably already be watching this. And again, that show's not for everybody. It's a fun show that I think gets into a great piece of work called the Law of One, and it talks about, it's not trying to replace anyone's religion. First, I just want to say that. It's not what it's about. It just gives perspective into kind of the history of our planet, at least some solid information that, no channeling's perfect, but they went to great lengths to make sure they had a clean channel on this. There's like Seth Speaks, Jane Roberts. She was actually a remarkable channel. There's a few that are, I think, pretty good about bringing the message through. And I think where we're at today is kind of new and different anyways, as far as the information that's being pushed through. So it's just got a lot of really cool information about our history, and maybe fills in some of the blanks that are scantily talked about in the Bible, I would say. So again, just something to consider. It's information that's mattered a lot to me. I think this is my 4th time through it. I'm enjoying the learning component of it and trying to help others understand some of this crazy stuff and maybe give a taste of some of who I am as a person also. I don't necessarily broadcast that aspect of myself all that often. So again, I think it's a bunch of things happening simultaneously. I believe the time is now for a lot of these transitions, and ultimately it comes down to you as an individual and how you swim through life. Hopefully I'm helping enough people to where we might be able to hit that magic number. I don't think it's that many that we need, so I think we're pretty close. We'll see. Again, a lot going on. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.